Hello everybody, Andy here, and today I want to talk to you about, shall we call it the road to LGT, London Grand Tournament, or, I'm going to throw it out there, the final golden ticket available in the world. And when I say in the world, what I mean is England. I'm going to expand that to the UK, and I assume the world, but I actually haven't checked, because we're just so close to the finals from Warhammer World. They're in November, I think, that I'm just going to say it's the final one, and it might be, or it might not be, and that's the kind of accuracy you can expect from my hot takes in this video and all of my videos. So, we have a large tournament in England. It's the LGT, which is often the biggest, well, one of the biggest tournaments for the 40k scene, certainly in the UK. I think it is typically the biggest. And it also runs side events like, Kill Team, obviously, it does Horus Heresy, it does Star Wars Legion, it does other things. I know Mantic has a presence there, have a booth. I assume they will also do some Shatterpoint this year, etc, etc. Cool stuff. So I wanted to do a breakdown of the London scene, what's being taken, because it's not just the London scene, the Spanish and at least one Polish is over here, and it's really cool. Now, a couple of things to get out of the way first. I am going to be there. It's next Saturday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday? At least Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be there on the Sunday, and I have been given permission to stream the top table. So I'm going to bring all my gear, I'm going to set it up, we're going to, at the very least, have a top-down view and both of the players mic'd up, so you can, at the very least, see and hear the top table. With a bit of luck, I will also set up alternative angles, so that you will get the full, like, the streaming view, like, 4 angles over there. It's going to be streamed to my Twitch, because obviously streaming it to YouTube would be insane. I don't want to kill my channel. So check out my Twitch channel if you want to see that live. Otherwise, I will at the very least have it recorded. Whether or not I stream it is actually dependent on whether or not my mobile phone data can handle it. Good stuff. Let's not talk about that organizational aspect of things. But definitely it will be recorded, and I will then upload it to this channel, Glass Half Dead, at some point after the recording, hopefully same week. Cool, if we're really lucky, even edited. Okay, with that said, let's get into the interesting details. I want to look at, obviously, the faction breakdown. That's always really interesting to see who's taking what the meta might be like, and also perhaps pick out some of the names, see who's taking what, so we can consider and contemplate such things. Okay, but of course, before we get into that, I would like to give a subscriber-only benefit, and that is a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome. Hey, if you need a double hello in your life, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment right now, in fact. And if you look down just here, you'll see I sell some objective markers on Etsy. You can find a link in the description, the top comments, all that stuff, probably. And if you don't want to buy them from Etsy because they're outrageously expensive, if you're a patron of mine, I give you the digital file and you can print them out yourself. Cool. Oh, I also have like a podcast and a bunch of other stuff. And oh, hey, you know what? Right now, at the time of recording, in about 3 hours-ish, I have a battle report coming out. I play the Warp Coven into my friend's Worm Blade on my other channel called Tactical Skew. So go check that out as well. That other channel just tends to be battle reports. It's only Kill Team at the moment, but I am going to be doing other things. Cool. Right, let's get into it, chaps. Let's pull up the first... No, that's a meme, not that one. Right, here we have the faction breakdown. This was just released about an hour ago, half an hour ago-ish. So let's have a look. So we obviously have 6 Intercession, 6 Legionary. That's cool that those are both the same. We expect that they are the... not beginner teams, that's not fair. They are the starter teams. They are the elite factions that a lot of people feel comfortable playing. They are the, elite, people like them, and obviously Intercession is the free rules, etc. Cool. Oh, the entire tournament is Into the Dark. That is very relevant as well, obviously. So, we expect to see Intercession and Legionary pretty high up in those ranks, especially on Into the Dark, because they've both got strong melee, a lot of options for how they want to play. Cool. However, very interesting, when I checked this, I was really surprised it was only 6 intercession, which implies there's a really good spread of teams. Certainly at big tournaments, I realise it's not much, but I tend to see like 9+ intercession, so very interesting. Also, just looking at, if you're there reading down that list, where are the commandos? Why are they so far down? Why are there only 2? Not what I would have expected. However, 6 legionary I would have expected, playing into what one would assume is a commando heavy meta, but it's not a commando heavy meta. Luckily, legionary are just still really good in general. So the fact that there aren't commandos is just a good thing for them, really, because commandos are really strong. Cool. We then have 4 breachers. It's a shame to see Dan back on the breachers, got to say. Bit of a shame, but whatever. We're all meta slaves at the top there, I guess. Like I am. Talons were an interesting 3 Talon players. Now, of course, this kind of harkens back to at the beginning of the year in end of February, beginning of March, I can't remember when exactly, where we had an All Into the Dark tournament, and we had old Jimmy K taking first with Talons, and he kind of did his little breakdown, which you can find on my Vantage Point podcast. No, you can't. I didn't do it there. I did a video on this channel discussing how he won on that, and he even left a comment underneath explaining a little bit more than I could say. So I don't know how you find that, though. Good luck. I probably called it Custodes Win Tournament. Go try googling that. And yeah, so it's good to see that, and interesting pick there. Trying to talk about the people itself as well. We have John from Can You Roll a Crit decided to go Talons. That tracks for me. I think Talons are really solid on Into the Dark. All makes sense. Very cool. 3 Hunterclade. Nice. I like Hunterclade. Even though there's only 3, you've got to see that 3 is a cut above everything else. And there's only a few teams that are taking more than 3. So good to see Hunterclade getting play. I think they're strong. I think they're really solid. 2 Hyrotech. Cool. Yeah. I'm really shocked that Necrons don't get more play, but fine. 2 Hearthkin. Now we have to talk about the Hearthkin because one of those Hearthkin players is Mr. Ace himself. That's right, we have the #1 in the world player coming over to the LGT, and he's taking Hearthkin on Into the Dark. That's going to be interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays. Yeah, we shall see. I'll be very interested to see what happens. Obviously, at the Warhammer World Tournament that recently occurred, Ace won that using Phobos. So we know that Ace has a modicum of sensibility when it comes to picking teams. He doesn't do things randomly, and I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing how he performs with Hearthkin. Into the Dark is an interesting one for them. In a sense, I imagine what he's going to be doing is stand outside rooms, kill from obscurity, and then when you move in, you're fine, right? Yeah. There's a lot of interesting dynamic with Into the Dark and movement speeds. So in an odd way, the movement speed of the Hearthkin is less of an issue on Into the Dark, because you don't need to go beyond the middle rooms, right? You need to get there, and then you need to stand there, generally. Very rarely do you need to get into the opponent's deployment zone. So Hearthkin don't need to consider that. Cool. Anyway, 2 Farstalkers. So I have decided very recently that Farstalkers are going to be my Horde team, because you've got to have a Horde team, right? You've got to know what you're doing with a Horde. With a Horde team. But the one thing I know about them is they're not great. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Farstalkers do. And one of the reasons they're not great is Into the Dark. Yeah. So we shall see. 2 Inquisition, of course, we have to talk about the Inquisition. It's great that we have a team that has a lot of, team building in it. However, quite interestingly, it seems that everybody that is currently playing Kill Team 2021 gave up on the idea of let's build lists, right? They enjoyed it, they really loved it in 2018, but I guess the people that mandatorily needed for themselves, for their mental health, to list build, kind of didn't make the jump from 2018 to 2021. And now that we have the team that is our biggest list building team to date, it's not actually getting much play. And and it seems to be very strong as well. So it's kind of weird that people aren't all over them and we're not seeing them everywhere. Could be, I don't care what the reasons are for it not being played much. However, we do have Mechanicus, who is the #1 Polish player. Let's quickly talk about that. He's playing it safe with Inquisition. It's a classic Mechanicus play. However, at Warhammer World, whenever it was, last month, Ace playing Phobos and Mechanicus playing Inquisition Agents were the final. And I'm so sad that we didn't get to see that final. I would have loved to have seen the plays. I would have loved to have had them both mixed up, hear what they're saying. That, to me, is a perfect game. I want to hear the two top players, how they interact, how they move, how they play, the etiquette. I want to see that. And it's a real shame that we didn't get that at Warhammer World. So then, due to BCP, I think this is bullshit, but whatever, Mechanicus came 4th, despite being on the top table. That's how it works. In my opinion, if you're on the top table, that should become a top 2 cut, and then everybody else is fighting out for 3rd. But if you're top table, it's 1st, 2nd. Anyway, whatever, who cares? Whatever, doesn't matter. It does though, it really does, but whatever. So I'm really hoping that those two get to fight, if not the final, the semi-final, because I should be there. I'm there on the 2nd day, and I should be able to record 2 games. Fingers crossed. So hopefully, then you guys will get for the rest of the week 2 games, possibly unedited, or I might cut things up a smidge to kind of give you a highlights. But I really don't want to cut out anything that the top players are saying. I think that's quite key. But if they have like big pauses where nothing happens, I'll cut those. Anyway, we then have Corsairs, perfectly balanced, as all things should be, good. Commandos, Kassakin had the Archon, and then 1 for Novitiates, Void Dancers, Demons, Star Striders, High Fleet, Blooded, Wormblade. Cool to see High Fleet and Demons out there doing good things. I think they both have solid play on Into the Dark. Probably, if I had to guess, I would say Demons more so than High Fleet on Into the Dark, but I generally prefer High Fleet for open, but whatever. So cool to see that. Void Dancers, strong. Weird there's only 1, to be honest. But then we have the no picks, the zeros. We've got Felgor, Warp Coven, Chaos Cults, Gelapox, Vet Guard, Exaction, Pathfinders, and Strikeforce Justian. That is a lot of no picks. And I wonder why. To be honest, Gelapox are strong. They are still one of the top teams. Nobody cares in London, apparently. Felgor, still solid. They got a nerf, but they're still a solid team. Yeah, Warp Coven suck, obviously. Get rid of them. And you can see how much Warp Coven suck on Tactical Skew, where who knows how that game turns out, but you should watch it, obviously. Chaos Cults, again, huge nerfs. Nobody cares anymore. But the nerfs weren't that big. Everybody agrees that Chaos Cults are still fine. They're still very competitive, but nobody likes them now. Very interesting. I would be really, really interested to see the alternate timeline where Chaos Cults released totally like 50-50 and see how much play they naturally got. I do believe that right now people are off cults either because they just absolutely shredded playing them for the last 2 months or whatever, or they're off cults because they still think they're really strong, and once a team goes from OP broken to fine, people still stay away from them. No Vet Guard, a surprise, I've got to be honest, because Vet Guard are generally, one of the starter teams, relatively popular. No Exaction. I guess Exaction have never been a particularly popular team, so that makes sense. But I've never been quite sure if they're not popular due to the difficulty of getting the team, or because you couldn't get the team and they sucked for a while, and now they've had a bit of a buff. I think it's still hard to get the team. I'm not quite sure at this point. But yeah, I guess people don't like them. No Strikeforce Justian surprises me, but I guess people care more about actually having the models than than just running the rules. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised there's no Strike Force Justian, and everybody is waiting to get the official models. Whereas I would have thought that the proxies were going to be rife and everywhere. So I'm actually quite surprised that there aren't that many. Yeah. Or there's not even one. Odd. Maybe I'll take them. Challenge people as they walk past. And finally, no Pathfinders, which brings me to the meme I accidentally flashed. There you go. Why are there no Pathfinders? Thanks to Paolo for making the meme, which I then stole. Yeah. So Pathfinders, real tough one. Still relatively strong on open, although less and less so as we are continuing to play map packs that penalise them pretty heavily and really encourage melee. So kind of makes sense, I guess. And then obviously Into the Dark is a little bit of an official GW way of saying, yeah, fuck ranged. Go melee, baby. You know, heavy everywhere. That's all you need. So we shall see. Still interesting though, because of course the last Bandits Day say actually gave Pathfinders a buff in specifically Into the Dark. I guess nobody got the memo or cared. Probably nobody cared. Yeah, because you know, yeah. Cool. That's it. That's it. So we've mentioned a few of the players that I hope I get to stream a match of. We've mentioned all of the factions, the ones missing. Yeah, cool. Okay, well I guess that's me done, isn't it? Do I have anything else to say? No, I do not. That is the end of the video. So if you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. The wholesomeness truly knows no bounds in the world of Glass Half Dead. If you've liked what you've heard here, consider liking, subscribe, leaving a comment, all that good stuff, as I am pretty much all kill team all the time. Although, minor note, I am actually just skirmish in general. But obviously heavy focus on kill team. And I've got to say, the more I think about game design in general and kill team in general, kill team's a really solid game. I don't know if you're aware of that. Pretty good. Pretty good. I like a lot of the design decisions they've made. Really fun. A little bit finicky in places, but who cares? You know, nothing's perfect. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of good skirmish games out there, and Kill Team is definitely among them. So it's not just a GW property and therefore successful. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, with that said, thanks for watching. Again, Patreon, Etsy, all that good stuff. Go and check out my other channel, Tactical Skew. It is now called Tactical Skew instead of Full Scale Wargaming, because Full Scale Wargaming had been to mean I would be playing larger size games like 40k, Age of Sigmar, but it turns out I hate 40k. It's just the shittest game in the world with just bad mechanics and like absolute bullshit, to be honest. So I'm not going to play that, so I decided to change the name, and it will be doing more battle reports and longer form, harder to edit and put together than Glass Half Dead things, videos in general. So yeah, go check that out. There's going to be a lot of Kill Team content on there now, if it's like battle reports, etc. Nice. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay pimping. Goodbye.